Hello and welcome to Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm your host, Psychic Zelda Kelly. Warning: this podcast may contain sensitive material. It is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. Hello, my friends. This is Zelda Kelly, and it is time for the latest and the next episode of Secrets Mystery Manor. I'm so excited because I've got some more good stories to tell you. But in the meantime, you know the drill. Get your snacks out. Come on now. You can't listen to one of these without a snack or two. Get your snacks and your teddy bear. Cuddle up really great, really good, really snuggly and really warm. And don't forget those drinks now. You need something to wash all this down. After all, you don't want to have a parched throat while you're listening to this, right? Well, this is a good one. So I'm glad you're joining me today because this is one that I've thought about through the years, and it's a personal story for myself, and I want to share it with you. So in 1985, I was married to a lieutenant commander in the Navy, and we had gotten stationed in Newport, Rhode Island. Now, Newport, Rhode Island was completely different than what I was used to. It's a coastal little town in Rhode Island that's been there for, a few hundred years. It's rich in history, wonderful people, and extremely rich in paranormal activity. And little did I know that I would be in the thick of it. Oh, did you just hear that? Well, we can't have an episode without somebody meowing or playing, right? So, there we go. They're at it. And I had to take a little break there to settle them down. You know how that is. Quiet, peaceful time. Anyway. So in 1985, we are going to Newport, Rhode Island. Now, Newport, Rhode Island was rich in history, as I said, and we had just come there from Spokane, Washington, and we drove all the way from Spokane, Washington to Newport, Rhode Island. He was only going to be stationed there for 6 months, and I thought, this is just going to be a breeze. It was really nice. Okay. We get there. I didn't realize the nature of such a beautiful little coastal town, but they knew that I was only there for a short time. Now, I was the assistant manager of the Newport Bay Club and Hotel for a little while, until they had a bomb threat. And we had to clear out the hotel. And I couldn't get people to leave because they were there partying and carrying on. And I had taken the call, had to call the authorities. And quite frankly, I got cussed out by I don't know how many people for interrupting their night at the bar because we had a threat. That was enough for me. And by the way, when I was the assistant at the Newport Bay Club and Hotel, I actually met Meg Ryan and Anthony Edwards when they were coming in and making the movie Top Gun. I was so excited, and Meg Ryan was so sweet and wonderful that I was working as a night auditor, and she came down and talked to me about the movie, and she used to be in a wonderful soap opera that I loved, which was As the World Turns, and her name was Betsy. So when I saw her, the first thing that I said was, "Betsy, And she held my hand and giggled, and we just had the best time. I love her. She was wonderful, and I've always loved her movies. Anthony Edward was there with her. He actually left his keys behind, and she called me, gave me his address, and I sent those back to him. Unfortunately, their autographs are long gone, but I'll always have that wonderful memory. So, I thought, I've got to do something. I can't just sit around the house all day. Got to do something. We're only here for a short period of time. I was actually offered a job in real estate, which I couldn't do. I was offered to work in a law firm, which I didn't do, just because it wasn't fair, really, for a lot of people for me to be getting a job like that and then would have to leave it right away. That's not how I am, and I know that you understand. So I got a job cleaning houses with a company, and I loved it. And I can tell you to this day, when I clean my house, I do it just the way that I was taught. And yes, there is a right way to clean, and it's efficient. I mean, you never know. We may have an episode of that. But I think of it every time I make my bed, every time I do the wet work, which is called the wet work in the bathrooms and the kitchen, and the dry work in the rest of the house. So we had many places that we would visit and clean. But there was one building there. Now, if you've never been to a coastal town, there's something very unique about it because you're going to find old buildings. And this, believe me, had old buildings. They weren't as old as the ones that were up north from there in, well, Massachusetts and Maine and Connecticut and Vermont, New Hampshire. But on the coastal towns, the buildings that are the oldest ones have a tendency to lean. And they all lean in the same direction, and it's because of the winds that come from the ocean. I would have never known that. So all these houses and all these homes, the older ones now, have this little lean, and they're not going anywhere. They're probably built better than some of the homes today. I mean, after all, they're still standing, and they've made it through many, many a rough season, especially the hurricanes. And I can tell you that I was in awe. Of course, this is right up my alley. I mean, after all, historical homes and a plethora of the paranormal. I was literally in heaven. So we got this one job at this attorney's office. Now, there were many businesses that went into these older homes that sat right on the street. I mean, the front doors, you open up the front door and you would hit someone or a car. It sounds kind of weird, but they're on cobblestones and the streets are different, and it's very charming. It's odd to me because I had never seen anything like that. But to them, it's a part of their everyday life, and it's such a wonderful experience. If you ever have a chance to go there, please do. So this one attorney hires the company that I was working for to clean his office. He was in an upstairs room. Now, this office was a home at one time, and the fireplaces were large enough that you could literally walk into, like a walk-in closet. They were huge. I'm 5'10", and I could walk inside the fireplace. Stand there, turn around, walk back out. I was amazed. The homes it was baseboards and cold molding and elaborate frames and just fantastic. and the original paint was on some of these. Now, this man brought us in here, and he told our boss something, and the girl that I worked with came to me and said, because she was training me, she came to me and said, look, we've got this job to go out on, and we were asked, are you afraid of anything that kind of, bumps in the night? And I'm like, well, are we going there at night? And she said, no, we're going there after hours. But it might be dark when we leave. No, I'm not afraid of anything. No problem. Okay, great. So we get in there. We meet the attorney. He thanks us. He leaves. And he kind of looks at us like, gosh, he hopes he sees us tomorrow. I thought that was kind of odd, and so did she. So we're cleaning. And we hear voices upstairs. And I looked at her and I said, I thought we were the only ones here. And she said, I thought so too. And we had been making a lot of noise because we had vacuums out. They did have rugs there, even though they had hardwood floors. And of course, we were making more noise than what we probably should have. And there were a time or two that we would sing as well. So we had a good time. Why not, right? We would take a radio with us and we would do our work and we would be efficiently and we would get out of there. But we kept hearing this walking around upstairs. And we would hear a man's voice and we would hear a door close. And then we would hear someone coming up and down the steps, going up and down the stairs. But no one ever showed up. So we didn't really think too much about it. We were busy doing our thing. We got the downstairs cleaned. And so we decided to go upstairs. Well, she went first and took some of the equipment, and I was finishing downstairs. And when I went to go upstairs, she was standing at the top of the steps, pale, looking funny. And I said, what's going on? And she said, there's no one up here. I said, oh, come on, there's got to be. We heard voices walking around. We heard all kinds of things. In fact, we had even heard something that sounded like a plate or a cup, something. We heard a little bit of laughter. We heard more than one man's voice upstairs. And I said, is there another exit? Could someone have left? And she said, well, I never thought about that. Maybe that's where the footsteps that we heard going down the steps. And I said, yeah, let's look. We went upstairs and we looked, and there was no upstairs exit. Nothing. We were on the only staircase, and it was enclosed. So it's not like someone would have gotten past us. We didn't hear the front door. In fact, we had the front door locked, so no one would come in on us while we were doing our job. So we shook it off, and in the room upstairs was really... the architecture was so neat how it was designed, because you walked upstairs and this gentleman's office was huge, and it was as soon as you came out onto this off of the stairway, there was a great big open room, and he had his office in the open room. But then there were doorways off of this open room that were bedrooms, and there was a fireplace in this big room. And so we presumed that's how they heated the upstairs, was from this huge great big fireplace. And all of a sudden we heard a noise in one of the rooms that was off of this big large room where his office was. We looked at each other and we thought, okay, what is that? What is, somebody's got to be here. We opened up the door, we knocked on the door, we said, hello, hello. Nobody there. And we just kept hearing this knocking, like knocking back at us. And then we would hear a voice or a clamoring. And at one point we heard something drop. And she looked at me and she said, I don't know about you, but I think we need to just get our work done and get out of here. And I said, I'm with you. And we did not leave each other alone in that entire upstairs. We went room by room, and that's not how we used to do our work. One would take one room, one would take the other, and we would get efficiently and we would get it done. We decided that we would work together and stay together. We just didn't know what was going on, and it never occurred to us. We just never thought. At one point, I was thinking, there's something here, and I'm not even going to talk about it because I didn't know how she felt about that sort of thing. And I'm sure she was not going to mention it to me either, but we both knew. We got our work done. We got everything done. We went downstairs, we checked on it, and by this time, it was dark. Hi everyone, this is your friend Zelda Kelly, and I would like to take a minute to invite you to stop over to Psychic Secrets. That's www.psychicsecrets.com. There you can find an advisor that can help you with advice, direction, and guidance that you need. And also you can read our blog, which has a lot of really, really good little articles and information and can actually answer some questions for you. You can find us here on this same site, this Secrets Mystery Manor. We are there. So you're there already if you found us. But we also have another section, which is the Secrets Laws of Attraction. We have some wonderful videos up, and we would love to have you stop by and take a look at that. Now, I want you to know that Secrets really is here for helping the person. We have qualified, experienced advisors on call 24/7. We have the ability to chat. We have the ability to take a call and actually even a video call if you feel so inclined. So stop on by to psychicsecrets.com. That's www.psychicsecrets, that's two S's in the middle now, psychicsecrets.com, and take advantage of our first-time offer. For those of you who have never called before, first-time customer, we have an offering of 30 minutes for $30. You know, we can get a lot accomplished in 30 minutes. I'm so glad that you stopped by today to listen to Secrets Mystery Manor. And I hope you take the invitation to come on over and check out our advisors. We're here for you. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you soon, and you'll see me on there. I'm extension 11. So back to our podcast. Bye for now. So we walked around the downstairs. We made sure that all the doors and the windows were locked. And that was our protocol before we left. We made sure that all the lights were off. We opened up the front door. As we were getting ready to go out, we heard a man's voice. Now I'm getting chills. I think you might too. We heard a man's voice when we opened up the door and getting ready to go out say, "Goodbye." Now I want you to know there were two young ladies that looked at each other, and we hightailed it out of there. We locked the front door. We did everything we could but run to the car. We opened up, when we were driving her car, we opened up the back of the car. She had like a little hatchback. We loaded up the equipment. She called our boss and said, "We're heading back to the office now. We'll unload and we'll see you tomorrow." We had probably about a 20-minute drive to the office. She and I did not say one word to each other. I don't think we knew what to say. We were trying to figure out if we really heard that or not. So the next day, after we had come into the office, because we had unloaded the night before, didn't say anything. She looked at us, and I think she knew. And she said, "You ladies want to come into my office?" So we looked at her because the first thing I thought of is, well, gosh, I hope we didn't get accused of, anything. We did our job, right? That's the first thing you think of when you called into the office. What did we do? Well, she sat down and she said, "I want to know what you heard last night." And I think we both looked at each other and we both had our mouths open, getting ready to say something. But I think we both felt at that time that it almost sounded ridiculous. We both heard it. We both know what had happened. So she knew that we were having a hard time saying it. And she said, "Well, let me just go first. We've sent 2 other crews over there and they refuse to go back. They tell us that something happens. They tell us that they hear things." And this young lady that I was with started to cry. And she said, "I didn't sleep at all last night. I didn't sleep a wink." And I said, "Well, I had a hard time myself because I was trying to reason through this." Now, I was working at a psychic line at that time, and I had grown up in haunted houses, but I just really didn't think, if you want to know the truth, that we would be walking in to such a place. And quite frankly, I have never heard more, even in the home that I grew up with, it's a concentrated amount of EVPs, and hearing them audibly without a device. I mean, they didn't have devices back then. This is 1985. They didn't have anything that would have been given to us that we could have used. And why would we have that at that time anyway? So she proceeds to tell us that the attorney had been there for years and almost had gotten used to it. And the people that worked with, he had a hard time keeping people, especially women, because they would go downstairs and they would feel somebody push them, or they would feel somebody touch them. Now, we didn't have that, but they heard the voices. And when we told her, she said, "I had a hard time believing it from these other crews, but you two, I know you won't lie." I said, "We have no reason to lie. We went there to do our job. I'm not so sure I want to go back again." And she said, "I'm not going to send anybody back there again." She said, "After the third time is the charm." So the lawyer tells the story of how this house, and incidentally, that had been built in the 1600s, was there during the Salem witch trials. This was the late 1600s. This house was built probably, she said, 5 to 8 years before the Salem witch trials was such a stir up in Massachusetts. This was something that just took me back, because I'm thinking, we're actually standing in this home built in the late 1600s. What a moment. And I had never been in a building that old to begin with. And it really brought this whole situation home. This lawyer went on to say that there was a gentleman that owned that house that was really keeping up with the Salem witch trials, and he would travel to Salem and then come back to his home. And he would have many visitors. He would bring people with him. It was really an interesting story. Now, obviously, they didn't have pictures or anything. Wouldn't you love to see that? I think I would have. But they found old records in the walls in a closet, stuck in an old book that was like a diary, and telling about this house that was built and telling how much he enjoyed it. And from what we understood, he was considered a gentleman. And it was kind of funny in a way that we had heard this, because this gentleman wished us goodbye when we left. Now, that is an intelligent, energetic entity, ghost, whatever you want to say. I just thought that was so amazing. And what an experience for me. And after all these years, I'll never forget hearing the gentleman of Newport say goodbye. I can hear it as though it happened right now. And I'll tell you, I have chills. I wish you all could have seen the home. I wish you could have all seen the area that it was at. It was amazing. But the next thing that happened about 2 weeks later was the hurricane of 1985, Hurricane Gloria. That's the first, and I pray to God, the last time that I'll ever be in a hurricane. My husband was not home, and he was at the base. I was home by myself. It was scary. The wind was blowing. I had the animals. It was just a horrible thing. Now, of course, my husband made it home during this whole thing, but we huddled in the bathroom for hours. It was frightening. We were in base housing because we just didn't feel that it would be worth it to get a place for 6 months and then have to leave again. So but they were strong homes and there was no damage to us or for us, but it was a real experience. The next time we meet, I'm going to tell you about another experience that I had in Newport, Rhode Island before we left. And this was kind of fun, and it was around a lot of people. So with that, I'm just going to say, the next time you hear someone say goodbye, I wonder if it's the gentleman from Newport, Rhode Island. I hope you all are well, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure enjoy bringing you these stories. And I appreciate you allowing me to come to you and tell you these things. It's so fun. But I want to thank you and wish you all well. And I hope that you can have an experience like this yourself someday. You be well and take care. And I'll see you again soon on the next episode of Secrets Mystery Manor. Bye for now. Until next time, thanks so much for listening. I just love this, don't you?